The same thing happens in trading. You have trading malpractice done to yourself. You're indicating you're not equipped to be trading with real money when you start talking in a language like, I know if I do this and if I get out, it's going to run and blast off. Okay, if you fucking know that, then stay in the trade. Stop talking about it. Just do that. But what you're doing is you're making an allowance for an outcome that you've now placed above and beyond in terms of importance to the outcome of what you started the trade on. If you're in a trade, you stay with the trade until it proves to you otherwise. Nothing else is important. You don't talk about your emotions. You don't say anything about your emotions. I think, I feel, I know it's going to do this. If it does this, it's you're predicting an outcome that you don't know for certain is going to happen, and your attention's placed on that. And that type of stuff's going to happen in these conditions, folks. You don't have time to think like that when it's in low resistance liquidity run conditions, because the market's in a hurry to get to your profit. If you're on side using the stuff I'm teaching, if you're on side on those instances at that time, the market's not going to spend a lot of time dilly-dallying around. It's just off to the races and go, baby. That's how you want to trade. You don't want to be in conditions that have you wrestling with, should I stay with this? I don't know. Should I hold on to this? Should I take something off? Fuck that. I'm not interested in being in those markets like that. And it doesn't make me a lesser trader than somebody else. Doesn't make me a better trader because I'm more selective. It makes me better as a person inside my own 7-pound universe. That brain that's in between my ears. I have to live within myself while I'm in a trade. And I know what it's like to be in a trade and tearing my own flesh from myself from the inside out, clawing my way, wishing the trade would just end. Because it's too nerve-wracking being in conditions, even when you're making money and you're brand new, you want to just escape that feeling of uncomfortable. Man, is this ever going to let me get out of this with a profit? It's so close. I'm like 7 handles away, 10 handles away. Let me just get out of this. Please get up here and hit my target. In the beginning, the best thing you can do is get out of it. When you're in that profit and you start feeling that wrestling match, get out of it and then log the rest of the trade. If it goes there, you get a moral victory. That's new growth. Well, there's a confidence builder right there. If I would have stayed with it, there it is. But you got to get to that threshold of failure where you can't stand it anymore in the beginning. And then when you can't stand it anymore, close the trade and watch what happens after that. That's the best you can do. There's nothing else you can do that's more positive reinforcement. Because if you stay with it, if it doesn't go there, you're going to carry that resentment for years. And that one little transaction in the beginning, everything is in seed format in the beginning. Everything that you're planting in your future self and future harvest of making money, it's all in seed format. That's what you're planting all those things in the beginning. Doesn't it make sense to plant good seeds in the beginning? So that way your harvest is bountiful and lifelong going forward. You have a lot of experience you can reap from harvesting good positive reinforcement ideas that you've did these things in the past. Therefore, you can trust the logic behind it versus always giving yourself the opportunity to be in these toxic environments. Never spending any time with weeding your garden, keeping all the weeds out of your garden. That means your mind's not spent worrying about toxic shit all the time, whether it be toxic personalities on the internet, toxic educators, toxic people that talk to you on social media that tell you what you're learning isn't going to work or you're going to fail, or putting yourself through toxic environments, forcing yourself to trade in environments like this. As a new trader, these are complex. That's not complex for me, but it's complex for a student that's brand new or not well versed with price action. They're not going to be able to appreciate the difficulties that are now elevated because of the nature of what the market's going to do, how it's going to print, how it's going to book price, in contrast to when the market has high impact or medium impact news drivers, and it's not a Monday, and we have very clear, obvious draws on liquidity. New week opening gaps, new day opening gaps that are clustered, and we have an opening range gap of more than 45 handles minimum, but I'd like 75. But there you go. That's a recipe for just beautiful low resistance liquidity run conditions. It's not 100% guaranteed that you're going to get low resistance liquidity run conditions. It just means that the probabilities are off the charts that that's probably what's going to happen. And that means I'm going to be all over that day or that session, all over it, like white on rice. I'm going to be on that. And it's important to know that even while you're learning in low resistance liquid drilling conditions, that your ultimate target, which you're trying to draw to, your new week opening gap high when you're short or new week opening gap low when you're long, it doesn't need to trade to that in the beginning for you.